You're up there. Anyway. Sorry. So, this is something. There's a woman, whatever, Lego fan. Let's say that. Her name's Stacy. She's on the TikToks, and she's got like a billion followers, which is fantastic for her. And she talks about getting used lots off of eBay sporadically. And I haven't had a used lot off of eBay in literally forever. I honestly can't remember the last time I actually went on eBay and won a lot. It's got to be a bunch of years. And yeah, after the fun with the Galaxy Explorers that I had way back in the day, because I did get lots of monorail on eBay way back in the day too, and sporadically also, I just remembering this now. Every once in a while, my buddy Chris and I would remember or look at eBay to see if we can get RCX stuff, and we got a really nice lot one time that came with a bunch of RCXs, a bunch of motors, a bunch of wires, a bunch of sensors, and a bunch of parts, and we divvied it up between the two of us. I remember that. That was fun. That was eBay too. And the SEQ eBay. Was that eBay? Maybe that wasn't eBay. I can't remember now. I'd have to look it up. It might have been eBay. But that was a long time ago. It was a very long time ago. I just don't bother because, like, overall, if I need a piece, I'll just go on BrickLink and get it. And so, but she made, oh, I got this lot on eBay and blah, blah, blah. And that had, great pieces in it. It's like a bulk lot of parts and pieces. And I said, oh, that was a good lot. That's a very good lot. I never got a lot like that on eBay. I would never buy bulk lots on eBay. I don't think I ever did. I remember on the Facebook Marketplace, but even before Facebook Marketplace on Kijiji, I got really good bulk lots, totes, big Rubbermaid totes full of various parts and pieces, and but that was a fixed price. I don't have to bid on it and then wait a week and see if I win or not. But I did get lots of Lego on eBay back in the day. And I met the aforementioned Galaxy Explorers 12 1 year. Can't go wrong with that. If you're in my shoes, you can't go. Hey, look at the nice shirt. Forgot to mention this last video. This is 5 seconds after I shut off the camera and put all those pieces in there. So I haven't changed. My hair's still the way it is. But as I say, I don't think I've ever bought a used bulk lot off of eBay. And so when she taught, oh, I got this 20-pound lot, I don't know how big it was. Has some really, really cool pieces in it. And some reconstituting some sets, possibly, which is what I like to do. And so I went on eBay right after I saw her video. She inspired me to go on eBay. And I just typed in classic space. Lego classic space. And there was some really interesting lots. Again, eBay is fine for what it is. It's not necessarily for me because I have lots and I don't have to go get more from bulk lots. But and I'm very myself, I'm very trepidatious about buying bulk lots because I know that in the past I have been burned once or twice, and I know that other people have been really burned once or twice by lots that look like they're really, really cool and turn out to be not so cool. They're salted on purpose. For example, I remember seeing a lot, this is a long time ago, like a decade ago, or over, I don't think it was 2 decades ago. It was a bulk lot on eBay. And there was a LL928 brick on there. And that was the Galaxy Explorer guy. Ooh, there's a Galaxy Explorer maybe in there. And I mentioned it to people that I know, either on Lugnet or somewhere, I can't remember. And somebody actually won it. They got it. And they said when they got the lot, that was the only brick in that entire lot that had anything to do with the Galaxy Explorer was that LL928 that was kind of hidden, kind of not hidden, like kind of right in the middle of the picture so you could see it. It was obvious that it was there, but there was not a single other Galaxy Explorer piece. It had 1x8 blue bricks in it, but there was no other wing plates. There's no glue, like nothing. was salted on purpose. And maybe it wasn't, but it was too much of a coincidence that it was just a bunch of other pieces that had nothing to do with Classic Space, nothing to do with Galaxy Explorers. So I am very trepidatious when it comes to this kind of stuff. I want to see more pictures. And even when I find something on Facebook Marketplace that's like a blurry picture of a used lot in a bin or something, I always ask for more pictures, not just a one. I want to see inside. I want to see bricks. And I mentioned this story because it wasn't a bunch of years ago. It was actually just a few years ago when on the marketplaces, there was somebody in Burlington, just down the street from me, who on the ad itself, $50 for this bin. And the bin was, I won't say it was this big. It was probably half this one. So $50 that bin. Now, I also noticed that they had a whole bunch of other ads in the marketplaces for Lego and blah, blah, blah. But this one said $50 this bin. And in that bin, I could see the red nose portion of the, and again, not that I needed another one, but it had this piece right on top. But also had some other, the blue piece like this and a few other like really, really cool Classic Space pieces and whatever. So I knew there probably wasn't going to be complete sets. I get that, but it had some really cool parts that I wanted in that picture of that bin, of one bin. So I sent them a message and said, I'm interested in that one bin. This one. Oh yeah, come on over. So I go over there and she hands me this bag full of stuff. And I'm going, I don't see this piece. She goes, oh no, this is just random lots. This is just I just reach into this garbage can here and pull out a random lot that fills this bin. And I said, that's not what it said in the ad. that I was more polite, but I said, that's not what it says in the ad. It said, this bin, $50. Oh, I meant like everybody else understands that it's just like random parts that I have in barrels full of Lego. I go, I'm not interested in these random parts. I saw like at least a dozen pieces like this and other pieces that were like from M-Tron and Blacktron and whatever else, Classic Space. That's what I was interested in. That picture, well, I can't give you that, she says. That's, it's just I took a picture and that's all gone now. Caveat emptor, buyer beware. I can't remember the actual caveat emptor. I think it's buyer beware. She did eventually, because her exact wording was exactly what I said it was, and she finally agreed that that's exactly what she said, that this bin, $50. And she scrounged up a bunch of parts and pieces that were in that picture, and she put them in a lot of the other random parts. I thought, that's perfect, that's fine, like $50, and I left. So I try to be careful on this kind of stuff, because again, it's not like I need the parts. I want the parts. I want the parts to reconstitute ships, or just because I have a whole bin of M-Tron parts here now. No reason whatsoever if I want to reconstitute something else. So when I saw Stacy's video and I said, maybe I should try eBay again, just give it a shot and see what I can find. And I found like literally the cheapest one I could find, the cheapest lot, small lot, tiny lot, so I wouldn't be out a lot of money. Because again, I've been disappointed before, and I don't need to be disappointed anymore. And again, downsizing and blah blah wah. But oh, by the way, I sold Lego today, and I still have stuff to ship to friends. But I sold Lego today. I feel proud of myself. I pat myself in the back. Lego came out of the house today. So anyway, I went on eBay right after I saw Stacy's video, and I found a lot. It was like $6 or whatever it was. It was for a week, and so I bid on it, and I think I bid $15 on it. And again, I could have looked up the pieces to see if I was overbidding already. $10, $15, and whatever. I can't remember what it was. I actually should have looked it up before I started. I won't say here. But anyway, this is it. A baggie full of parts. Yay! So, but not just any parts. Again, this is just random parts to anybody else, but I'm just gonna start organizing things here right now. So these are the bricks and slopes. Put that one on the bottom. I think that's all the bricks. Oh, there's one more. There we go. Okay, so nice parts. The gold is gold. Can't complain about that. This, I don't know if that's faded yellow or if it's just white. I don't remember that ever coming in white, but whatever, it doesn't matter. This one's in yellow. It's good. So there's that, and then there's these two. Again, why I got 2 more of these things, just because I wanted. Yay! And this guy, cause yeah, I didn't run out. And these guys, yay! And this guy, always nice little shield, and some plates here. 4 plates. Space Police 2. Space Police 1 possibly in the thing. Love this guy, and I keep on running out of him. And another Space Police 1 arrow. And then 4 of these for possibly Space Police 2, but whatever, I got a million of those. So I didn't think I overpaid. I won it. I was shocked that I won it. I thought I was going to get overbid. I can't remember. I couldn't care. But it was fun to do this. Just video content. But beyond that, just something so dopey and small that I just may build a Space Police 1 set in the very, very near future. Because I'm in a mood to reconstitute some sets, and I don't know if I can find that easily. But you know, it was a fun thing to do, and I'm happy I did it, and I can't complain about that for the price I got. Again, I should have looked up before I started posting this video. But also in the mail, because I made a BrickLink order. So in the mail I got, oh, here it is here. I'm sorry, this is something that I was looking for. I got those guys there. These are mine. And I got these guys. So this is a studs there, studs there. This is stud on the other side. This is stud here. Oh, explain this one to me. So then I got 4 rights there, and I got 1 left. So if anybody out there has a left and want to swap with a right, because I got 4 to 1, so I got 1 complete set right there, and I got 3 rights. Anyway, put that already in there. So it is what it is. So, anyway, so I made a BrickLink order because I can find it. And the seller was very, very polite. Very, very polite. So they actually sent me an email as soon as I made my order saying they couldn't find the 1x1 trans yellow bricks, because this thing requires trans yellow brick, because I have 1 trans yellow on that side and it's a white brick on that side. And they said that yes, they put it in the store that they had them, they just couldn't find them, so that's fine. They had the rest of the parts that I wanted, and so I ordered from them. And see, this is what I have to do when I do that big show with all my parts and all my sets that I'm going to do one of these days. Is I have to put everything back together, because it's all in parts and pieces, and that's just because there's so much of it, and I need to save space. There's you. It's amazing I can remember most of this stuff. It is what it is. I will say that, don't tell me I lost. I thought I lost a piece. So it's this guy here that I also had to replace, and I'm not going to worry about these guys at this point. Let's put this on top there like that, just to get them out of the way. So I did a BrickLink order. I'm hoping that it was for the pieces for this guy, and it was. So that's the other thing. Yes. So yes, I needed those. But I also got these guys, and you would think that this would be a ubiquitous piece of my collection. You would think. I'm always amazed at the pieces that are not ubiquitous in my collection. And the 2x4 hinge plates, I have a million of. The 2x9s, which comes in that rocket launcher that I love, I ran out of, because I did. So I noticed that he had them, so I ordered them. But the reason why I have this used, this BrickLink order here, oh boy, he taped this up pretty good, is for these guys right here. I ordered 2. I think that's the 2 that he had in the store. I can't remember. Usually if he only has 2 or 3, I'll order all of them. But that's just so I can go over here and get rid of this guy. Little song and dance. I'm the constant entertainer, as they say. And so put this together and let's see what happens. There we go. Besides the 1x1 trans yellow brick, I think this guy's complete now with the right parts, which makes me happy. Yeah, I don't see anything else. As I say, usually when I build a set and it's missing a part, I'll put that piece in white, because white seems to have the most, besides black. White has all the parts that are necessary, and I can tell from a very quick glance if I have all the right parts, and it does look like I do. So there you go. I didn't bother reordering the 1x1 trans yellow brick from another store, and I do know, I think my other FX Star Patroller is also missing at least one of the trans yellow bricks. So again, one of these days I might just grab one, complete one, and leave the other one with 2 white bricks in it, whatever. Or let's go back on BrickLink again and order yet another one. But that's the mail call. So one from eBay, one from BrickLink. This thing is mostly reconstituted, which is fantastic, and I'll just throw it back in the bag and throw it back in the bin, and not worry about it. Do I now dig up the other set that's in there, the set that I'm not hugely appreciative of, and replace the arrow bricks or the arrow tiles? I don't know. Time will tell. So that's it. That's all. That's I think that was a worthy investment of my time and energy. One eBay purchase, which was, I think, good enough for what I paid for it. And these pieces will be rolled into the collection, and just like these ones will. I know that, I believe it's this one. I believe it's this arrow here. These arrows here that point up, that are rarer than the arrows that point sideways. I can't remember now. I know that my friend Dana asked me for one of these. Either they point up or point sideways. I can't remember which one, but it was for the space isolation base, Space Police 1. I think it came in that set, and only in that set. But I saw them and I said, no, let me just go check, because I know. I know that when I check my stuff, checking my stuff, not slopes, here we go, plates, tiles. So on here, I'll just put these things here now. So now I have 3 up arrows and still 1 sideways arrow. So again, I don't believe, and then the 2x2s, I'm not gonna bother. I'm gonna move this guy up. Back up there, and put the Space Police there. There we go. So I will say that I got into these when I was reconstituting a whole bunch of sets, and it's a lot emptier than it once was, except for RoboForce, which I have one RoboForce set together. I thought, I don't know where he is right. Oh, he's way up there. I have one RoboForce set together. Some people adore RoboForce. It is. Bring this guy down. Woohoo! Sorry, my youth. The older I get, the more I revert back to my earlier childhood and talk about how wonderful these sets are. So, I once got to fly. I was 14 years old. I got to fly in a paper Super Cub that had pontoons on it. My Scouter Bill, one of the best people that I've ever got to meet in my life. A good friend of the family. He had a Piper Super Cub, 2.5 seats. Guess who sat in a half seat? But anyway, RoboForce. I don't think I ever did a review on this guy. I can't remember now. Over here. Get it out of the way. I don't even know where the minifig is, because there's usually a minifig sitting on this guy. This guy's covered in dust. He's fine. He really is. He's cute. It is fine. RoboForce is the least of all the classic space sets, themes. I honestly should try to do a hierarchical of my appreciation. My problem is that I do vacillate. I do tend to vacillate a lot between my absolute favorites, because it depends on what I'm feeling that day. It's like TNG versus TOS. I'm sorry. Like, I am a person sitting here telling you that depends on the time of day whether or not TNG is better than TOS, or TOS is better than TNG. DS9, go screw yourselves. Like, honest to God, just whatever. Like, Babylon 5 blew DS9 out of the water, period. And DS9, I'm not saying blatantly ripped off. I'm not saying, I will never ever say that DS9 blatantly ripped off Babylon 5, just like Lost in Space blatantly ripped off Star Trek TOS. But it's amazing the behind the scenes of DS9 when they started talking about the story arcs, and how, honest to goodness, it seemed to reflect what Babylon 5 was doing better. So, I mean, and you know, and you people, all my friends out there, you wonderful people watching this, know I am a massive Star Trek is a way of life for me. Period. Like, it's not my favorite TV show. It's a way of life. Like, I will not lump Star Trek into TV shows. It's just every other TV show that I watch. No. Star Trek for me is IDIC. Star Trek for me is like Prime Directives. I have seen every episode of every franchise, all the fan-made stuff, all the books, I am a huge Star Trek fan, and I adore Star Trek, and I will until the day I die. BA5 blew DS9 out of the water, period. Straight up it did. the story, the cohesiveness of the Babylon 5 story, and it over and above the fact that they were going to be canceled after season 4, and then we can get into the semantics of that. And so therefore they felt they had to rush season 4, and then season 5 was vaguely disappointing as compared to the 4 seasons before. But that was fully understood in context of what was going on outside the show. Whereas DS9 had the entire ability to do whatever they wanted. It was Star Trek for quite a long time. It was just making money. And the studios were just writing blank checks to Star Trek, where Babylon 5 had to fight every single season. And so DS9 had massively huge... Don't get me wrong. It's still great Star Trek. Actually, in my opinion, it's not even really good Star Trek, but it's really good science fiction. But Voyager was better Star Trek. People are going to hate me for this. Voyager was better Star Trek than DS9 was. DS9 was not a Star Trek show. It wasn't. It took place in the universe of Star Trek. And yes, they grappled with a lot of stuff. And yes, they had these wonderful ideas about Section 31, which I think is still one of the best things that came out of DS9. And blah, blah, blah. But I just saying, I not to go off on this tangent, but RoboForce is DS9. It really is. I don't know. I liked DS9, but out of all the franchises, I don't remember this being much of a struggle for me before, but I'm actually having a tough time now, struggling with the animated series. It has some charm to it, but it is a slog to get through the 2 seasons of the animated series right now. It is what it is. So I don't know how I would lump the animated series into the echelons of Star Trek, but DS9 is down at the bottom. I liked it. I didn't love it. I loved Voyager. I loved Enterprise. I loved TNG. I loved TOS. I loved since I love Discovery. I'm sorry, people who hate this guy. I don't even know what to tell you. It is a good show. It's not a great show. Axanar is better than Discovery for the Klingon War in the first season. Like, Axanar would have been the most fantastic thing in the history of fandom making something. Next, like, I rank the 20-minute movie of Axanar up there with Rogue One, because you can tell fans who absolutely adored the show made Axanar. Now, again, egos got in the way and whatever happened there, so I'm not going to go into that. But Axanar was fantastic. It would have been wonderful if Paramount let them go and do what they wanted to do with that, instead of the egos getting involved and whatever. Yeah, so I see many fan-made movies and episodes or whatever. Like the new Voyage is one of the best things I've ever seen. Like, honest to goodness, is fantastic. Yeah, Crawley is great. Yeah, and I love Lower Decks. Yeah, I am a huge fan of Lower Decks because it's fun. It's just what Star Trek can be on the fun side. It's just like a Cheers episode. It has no sense of purpose to it. It's just fun. And Strange New Worlds, again, it's moving straight to the top for storytelling and appreciation for all of things Star Trek. And so I love Star Trek, and I've loved Star Trek. My earliest memories are me and my brother watching Star Trek, and then it's laying on the living room floor. And the Arena is one of the very first episodes I remember watching, which is an absolutely brilliant episode to this day. And yes, people say it's a rubber suit and the lizard guy. I don't care. It still holds up for me. And yes, Spock, yes, Captain, yes. What's he trying to do? Yes, Captain. Oh, you got the diamonds. Yes, yes. Oh, the sulfur. Yes, yes. Good, Captain. Like, I'm going, whatever, for what it was. Sure. Like, but Arena's a great episode. Return of the Mectrons was a good episode. Those are my earliest memories. Yeah, Devil in the Dark. Because they're all repeats back in 1971, 1972. My earliest memories of watching Star Trek. I was born halfway through the second season, so there's no way I'm remembering watching that TV in prime time. But the repeats and just being glued to the television set and absolutely loving Star Trek, and it's been there my entire life. And I got, the Enterprise model is one of the few non-Lego things in this room is my model of the Enterprise, because Star Trek is a way of life for me. And it always will be. But in the end, just like RoboForce is an okay series in Lego, DS9 is an okay series in Star Trek, in the history of Star Trek. And I was just disappointed at the time, because Babylon 5 was already on for 1 or 2 seasons before DS9 started, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember now. And DS9 started off as a serialized TNG show, where there was no overarch. The only thing that was remotely close to an arch to the show, a story arc, was Cisco being the prophet that showed up sporadically. It was just like Q showing up in TNG. You can't call it a story arc. The fact that they went into the Dominion War, as I thought it was nice and necessary at the time. Roddenberry was gone in 1991, which is kind of sad, but he also never liked conflict on the bridge, which was the lame part of TNG. As soon as his hooks into the TNG were lessened, you had some conflict. Shelby shows up. So it's fantastic. But in the end, in all, taking into account all 7 seasons of DS9 and taking into account of all 7 seasons of TNG, overall TNG did far better on the Star Trek front, holding up the ideals of Star Trek and Starfleet. Well, obviously, because the whole point of DS9 in some cases was to be surreptitiously going completely against Star Trek or Starfleet conventions to get the job done, and I didn't mind that. I didn't mind Cisco. I will say there were some hugely powerful episodes in DS9. When Cisco went back to 1940s and writing those science fiction stories. It was a wonderful episode, brilliantly acted by literally everybody in the show. There were some absolutely, completely divinely, muse-inspired episodes in DS9, but it was a soap opera overall, and I get that that's what it had to be because it had a story to tell across 5 seasons. But it wasn't good Star Trek. Sorry, it wasn't, and a lot of people who I respect say it was the best Star Trek, and absolutely, if you hold the opinion that DS9 was the best Star Trek, Steve Shives, I'm not going to fault you for that. And your reasoning is sound and valid. It wasn't a good Star Trek for me, and I think as my age, part of it, and growing up on TOS is part of it. And watching a better show at the same time is part of it. And a lot has been said about the negatives of Babylon 5 over the years, because Babylon 5 has some huge negatives. Sheldon talks about it in Big Bang Theory. But in the end, the story arc in Babylon 5 was stupendously awesome. And that was enthralling to watch unfold across the seasons. And I found the characters of Jakar and Londo, there was no corresponding characters like Kira and Gul Dukat, maybe, but in the end, they didn't have huge depth. By the way, Gul Dukat and what's his name, his second in command that became the leader of resistance of the Cardassians in the last season. I can't remember his name now because it's been a long time since the bad CSN episode. But Londo and Jakar are two, for me, two of the most fantastically awesome TV characters in the history of television when you watch them across the 5 seasons, and the depth that you see in them as they go through what they go through. Anyway, I can't talk anymore about Star Trek. Babylon 5. I may, and I just have all these plans. I may at some point finish the 4 Robo4 sets, or the 3 other Robo4 sets. I believe I can build them. I've never tried building them before. But as this whole thing started off by pointing out, I have all those 1x2 tiles of Robo4s right